Hey, everybody, and welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're diving into, well, TikTok. If you've seen a dance or two, or even made some yourself, but things are getting a little interesting on the legal side of things lately.
Yeah, definitely interesting. A bit concerning, too.
Yeah. So what's going on? Fill us in.
Well, the U.S. government's kind of freaking out about TikTok's parent company, ByteDance. There's worries about data access and, possible ties to the Chinese government.
Hold on. A ban. That's a bit extreme, isn't it? I mean, TikTok's huge.
Yeah, millions of users just in the U.S. alone. But that's kind of the problem, right? That's a lot of data.
Okay, so what kind of data are we talking about here? Just silly videos and dance trends?
It's a bit more than that. Think location data, browsing habits, even who you're contacting. Not exactly stuff you want just anyone having access to.
I see your point. So is this like a genuine national security concern or more just like a precaution? It's a bit of both, to be honest. There is some legitimate concern about foreign governments, potentially accessing user data. And, well, TikTok's become the poster child for that whole debate.
So what happens if they actually ban it? Poof, gone.
Well, there are a few scenarios. One possibility is ByteDance sells its U.S. operations to an American company.
So TikTok would still exist, but under new management.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Be interested to see who'd be interested in buying it and how that would change the platform.
makes sense. But what if that falls through? What's plan B?
Well, then the government could actually just remove TikTok from U.S. app stores.
So no more updates or new downloads.
Right. And you have to think, if there are no more security updates, vulnerabilities could emerge. Then using the app could actually be risky for your data.
Okay, so even if it technically still works, there's reason to be cautious. So what should people do? Back up those TikToks, just in case.
It's not a bad idea. Actually, downloading a full data archive is probably the best approach.
Data archive, what is that?
Basically, all the info TikTok has about you, bundled up. Videos, comments, your profile, even direct messages.
Whoa, that's a lot. How do you even do that?
Oh, it's easy. You go into Settings, find the Privacy section, and there's an option to download your data.
And that's it?
Well, you have to request it. It might take a few days to process, but then they send you a file to download.
So it's like every little thing you've ever done on TikTok.
Yeah.
Kind of creepy, but also kind of cool.
It's about having more control over your data and seeing how TikTok uses it. That's valuable even without a ban,
Makes sense. So are there other ways to save videos, like quicker ways?
Oh, absolutely. You can just save individual videos to your phone.
Sure, I knew that one. Anything else?
Well, besides manual saving in the data archive, there are third-party downloader tools.
Like websites and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You can download TikToks directly without the official app.
Sounds convenient. What's the catch?
Well, security is the main concern. Not all those services are trustworthy. Some might be collecting data or even have malware.
So it's a trade-off. What about cloud storage? I use that for photos. Is it good for TikToks too?
Absolutely. Backing up to Google Drive or Dropbox or iCloud is a great idea. That way, even if your phone goes kaput, your videos are safe.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've got manual saving, data archive, third-party downloaders, and back it all up to the cloud. Got it. But what about the app itself, if it goes poof?
Right, so aside from ByteDance selling it off, there are a few other possibilities. TikTok could be removed from the app stores, but, existing users might still be able to access it for a while.
So like a slow fade instead of an instant shutdown?
Maybe. But what about all the creators who make content for a living? Where do they go?
Good question. What do you think?
Well, we could see a mass exodus to other platforms like Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, Snapchat even.
Back to the platform wars, huh?
Could be. But yeah, starting over on a new platform would be a tough transition for a lot of creators. Some might do great, others might struggle.
It really shows how fast things can change online, huh? One day it's all fun and games, the next.
Gone. It's a good reminder to be proactive about our data. And, be aware of the risks of using any online platform, really.
Totally. TikTok or not, this data privacy thing is something we all need to be thinking about.
Couldn't agree more. It's all about being an informed user.
Informed users. I like that. Well, on that note, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll dive deeper into what being an informed user really means in this crazy digital world. So we talked about saving TikToks, the ban, data privacy. It's a lot, but it's important to talk about this stuff, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's easy to just scroll and but this whole thing shows how, fragile our digital lives can be.
Yeah, totally. We were talking about being informed users before the break, but what does that even mean, like practically?
Well, the first thing is understanding every app. Like everything we use online, it's collecting data on us.
Yeah, that much I get. But it's not just passwords and stuff, right?
No, it's like every click, every scroll,
Yeah.
It's the currency of the internet, you know. But it's not just how much, it's what they collect and what they do with it.
So it's like we leave these invisible trails everywhere. Kind of creepy.
It can be. And with data collection happening constantly, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But that's exactly why we have to be informed. The more you know, the better choices you can make.
Okay, but most of us aren't like tech geniuses. Where do we even start?
You don't have to be a genius. Just start small. Next time you get a new app, look at the privacy settings. See what they're asking for, if you're okay with it.
That's true. I usually just click allow without
Yeah.
thinking.
It's about being deliberate. Another easy thing is strong passwords, different for every site, and two-factor authentication, if you can.
I am so bad about using the same password.
It's like one key for your house, car, everything.
Not smart.
Speaking of which, we were talking about VPNs earlier, how some people might use them if TikTok gets banned.
Yeah, to get around the restrictions, right? But you said there are downsides.
There are. VPNs are useful, but not a perfect solution.
Hmm.
So basically, a VPN is like a tunnel for your internet traffic. Yeah, it encrypts your data and sends it through a server somewhere else. So it's harder to track you.
So like if I use one, it could look like I'm in, I don't know, Canada, even if I'm here.
Exactly. That's how people might try to get on TikTok if it's blocked. But VPNs don't make you invisible. Your internet provider can still see you're using one.
So not a magic solution. What else should we know?
Not all VPNs are the same. Some are better for privacy than others. You want one that doesn't keep logs of what you do.
Don't want to trade one problem for another. Yeah.
Exactly. And be careful about free VPNs. They got to make money somehow. So they might sell your data or show you tons of ads.
So pay for a good one. Got it. Okay. Strong passwords, two-factor, picky about apps, and a good VPN. Anything else we can do to be more in control?
Absolutely. Besides all that, we need to push for better laws about data privacy, support groups fighting for digital rights, tell companies what we want.
It's not just on us as individuals then.
Right. We need bigger changes too. This isn't just tech stuff. It's about society, even human rights.
This is really making me think differently. Data privacy isn't just like a geeky tech thing anymore.
It's about power. Who has it? Who controls what? This whole TikTok thing is a perfect example. What stands out to you from everything we've talked about?
Honestly, it's that we do have some power, we have choices, we have rights. If we're informed, we can actually change things.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's a marathon, not a sprint. We make a difference by taking small steps, doing it consistently, and, demanding better.
This has been amazing. We went from worrying about cat videos to like the whole foundation of how we live online.
And that's what we're here for, to get you thinking. This is a huge topic, always changing. But the more we learn, the better we can navigate it all.
Well said. Well, I think that's about all the time we have for this deep dive.
Indeed. Any final thoughts for our listeners?
If this got you thinking about your digital life, even a little, that's a win. Keep learning, stay curious, and remember, your data, it's your story. Make sure it's being told the way you want.
Thanks for listening, everyone. So we've talked about VPNs, strong passwords, picking the right apps. It feels like we've covered a lot.
Yep, Tab, it's like data privacy 101, right?
Yeah. But even with all the right tools, the whole thing still feels kind of precarious.
I get it. It's like if TikTok can just disappear, poof, what else is vulnerable? Makes you think about all the other stuff we rely on.
Exactly. Banking, email, all our social media. Does this TikTok situation change how we should think about those things?
It should. It's not just about one company or one app. This is a much bigger change, how our whole society is shifting. Like online life versus real life, that line is basically gone.
That's so true. I remember when just having an email address was like the coolest thing. Now my fridge is probably online more than I am. Right. We're hyper-connected, which has tons of benefits, but it also means new risks. When our money, our communication, even buying groceries relies on these platforms, that's a lot of trust we're giving away.
So being cautious isn't just for TikTok, it's for everything online.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We got to be asking, what data do they have? Why do they need it? And do their practices match what we believe is right? It's like checking the ingredients on food, but for your digital life.
I like that. But honestly, it sounds overwhelming. Where do you even begin figuring all this out?
One step at a time. Start with the services you use the most. Look at their privacy policies. I know, not the most fun read, but there are websites that explain them in plain language too.
Oh, thank goodness. So step one, figure out what the policies actually say. Then what?
Think about what's most important to you. Do you want to minimize data collection? Want more control over how it's used? Is transparency the biggest thing? Once you know that you can compare different services, ask for them to do better, maybe even switch to something else entirely.
It's like becoming a smart shopper, but for online stuff. That whole I've got nothing to hide argument doesn't really cut it anymore.
Not at all. Privacy isn't about hiding, it's about control. Having choices about what gets shared, when, and who.
I gotta admit, this deep dive has really changed how I think about this stuff. We went from cat videos to questioning my whole online life.
That's what we do here. Get you thinking deeper. What stood out to you the most from all this?
I think it's realizing we're not helpless. We have options, we have rights, and the more informed we are, the more we can change how this digital world works.
Perfectly said. This isn't a one-time fix. It's an ongoing thing. We make a difference bit by bit, being consistent, demanding better from the companies.
This has been eye-opening, really. We covered a lot of ground today.
We did. But that's how these deep dives go. Always more to learn, always changing. But the more we know, the better we can handle it all.
So true. Well, I think we're just about out of time for today's deep dive. Any last words of wisdom?
Stay curious, stay informed, and stay involved. What happens with data privacy depends on all of us.
Couldn't agree more. So, to all our deep divers out there, we went from the TikTok drama to a much bigger look at how data shapes our lives. If this made you think about even one new question, mission accomplished, keep learning, keep asking, and remember, your data is your story. Make sure it gets told the way you want. Thanks for joining us, everyone.